never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer, fine.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. I hope your Tuesday is off to a good start today. Here on the channel, I'm going to talk some National Basketball Association. I'm also going to talk some college football. And we're also going to talk some NASCAR. But we'll start out in the world of Major League Baseball. Of course, last week the Texas Rangers won the World Series in 5 games over the Arizona Diamondbacks. And it was the Texas Rangers' first franchise World Series. Now, the TV ratings came out, and they were, let's just say, not very good. But I'm not surprised by that because neither team really has a superstar on it that people are going to flock to watch. And I wouldn't say that either one of those teams are anywhere close to being top 10 in most popular teams. But the reason why I bring that up is because that's one of the things you can bring up the next time some idiot tries to claim that sports are fixed or sports are rigged. But of course we all know that people only say that when their team doesn't win. And every time their team doesn't win, all of a sudden, oh, it's rigged. Which tells you that it's not rigged, because if it was rigged, it wouldn't only be rigged when your team lost. But why would you take 2 teams that are not very popular at all and put them in a World Series where nobody's going to watch? That makes absolutely 0 sense. But congratulations to the Texas Rangers for winning their first World Series title. And on to the world of NASCAR. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney Sunday. He won his first career Cup championship. It came down to Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, William Byron, and Kyle Larson. Of course, Kyle Larson won it a couple of years ago, so he was the only one of the 4 who had won a championship already. The other 3 had never won one. But I would probably say that of the final 4, Ryan Blaney was probably the underdog, because we know that William Byron and Kyle Larson both drive for Rick Hendrick, who is the most known and the most loved and the most favored owner in NASCAR. And anytime he has a driver make the Final 4, they're always the favorite. And of course, Christopher Bell drives for Joe Gibbs Racing, and Gibbs is probably the second best team in NASCAR behind Hendrick. So I would say that Ryan Blaney driving for Penske was definitely the underdog of the 4, especially considering that he almost got disqualified about a month or so ago, and it seemed like that really made him mad because he turned it on after that. Ryan Blaney doesn't win a lot. He's just very consistent. He actually made the playoffs last season based on points because he did not win a race. But he'll be 30 years old next month, and he already has a championship now, so he may win another one before it's all said and done. But he was actually born on New Year's Eve, so the last day of the year will be his 30th birthday. But it just shows you that it takes luck to win a championship. Ryan Blaney is 29, almost 30 years old, has 10 career wins, and now has a championship. And then you have Ricky Rudd, who I believe won close to 40 races and never won a championship. And Denny Hamlin, who still drives, has, I think, 52 career wins, and he's never won a championship. And here you have Ryan Blaney with 10 career wins, and he's got one. And Ryan Blaney is different than all the other drivers, such as Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Chase Elliott and Kyle Petty back in the day, who only get a ride because of your daddy. Because all the other ones that came along who got a ride because of their daddy was always really, really good. And most of the time, in most situations, the son has sucked. He's just got a ride because of the daddy. But Ryan Blaney's father raced, but he was terrible in NASCAR. Now, he was a really good dirt track racer, but his NASCAR career was, nothing to be desired. And most people, unless they're die-hard NASCAR fans, probably couldn't tell you what his daddy's name was or what car he drove. And that just tells you how bad his daddy was. So Ryan Blaney did not get a ride because of his daddy. He actually earned it. So congratulations to Ryan Blaney for winning the 2023 NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Championship. As far as the college football AP poll goes, just like last week, I'll give you the top 15, and you can compare it to tonight's college football playoff poll when it comes out. Georgia, the number one team in America, followed by Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Penn State, and Ole Miss. And 11 through 15 is Louisville, Oregon State, Utah, Tennessee, and Oklahoma State. Talk about a team that's come a long way. I don't know how Mike Gundy does it. He's one of those coaches that never gets talked about, never gets the credit he deserves. But Oklahoma State got not just beat, but got destroyed by, I believe, South Alabama in week number 2. And it looked like they were in for a long season. Now here they sit at 7-2 with a pretty doggone good chance of advancing to the Big 12 championship game. And in case you have not heard while we're talking about college football, USC actually fired their defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch, on Sunday. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think it matters. I think Lincoln Riley done that because he hears all the talk about how bad their defense is. But Alex Grinch is just a puppet. I don't think that was him putting his full heart into coaching defense. And I can tell Lincoln Riley, I can see him now telling the next DC, look, I'm bringing you on to coach defense, and I want our defense to improve a little bit. But I'm telling you now that I'm an offensive guru. I'm known as having a great offensive mind, and our offense is going to be better than our defense. So I want our defense to improve a little bit. Instead of giving up 40 a game, let's try to give up 33, 34 a game. But if people start talking about USC and they talk about the defense and not our great offense, I'm going to fire you. And I know that sounds funny, but I can legit see Lincoln Riley saying that because I just don't think Lincoln Riley wants to have a good defense because he wants all the talk to be about him and how good of an offensive mind he is. And I don't think there's an ocean in the world that's big enough to hold Lincoln Riley's ego. That's just my personal opinion. And we're about 2 weeks into the NBA season, so I wanted to tell you the current top 8 in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. And these are totals through Sunday's games, not yesterday, because I did all this tallying yesterday and I wasn't going to go back and redo it last night. So these are the games through Sunday because we're about 2 weeks into the NBA season. In the Eastern Conference, we have the Boston Celtics sitting at 5-0. 76ers at 4-1, but they did the best thing ever, which was get rid of James Harden. It's supposed to be James Harden, but there's no D in Harden. The Hawks and the Magic are both 4-2. Milwaukee Bucks, the 5 seed right now at 3-2. The Nets 3-3. The Pacers 3-3. And the Cleveland Cavaliers right now have the 8th spot in the East with a record of 3 wins and 4 losses. Over on the Western Conference side, we have the Nuggets at 6-1, the Mavericks at 5-1, the Warriors at 5-2, the Pelicans at 4-2. Shocker. C.J. McCollum is already out hurt. And Brandon Ingram is already out hurt. I believe last year there was 15 games maybe where McCollum and Ingram and Zion, all 3 played together because it seems like one of them is always hurt. And I think they played 3 games this year before Brandon Ingram got hurt. And now C.J. McCollum is hurt. Won't be much longer. Zion will be hurt too. Number 5 seed out west, the Minnesota Timberwolves at 3-2. The Los Angeles Clippers are also 3-2. Then you have the Lakers at 3-3 and the Spurs at 3-3. And people are already saying that with the addition of James Harden, if the Los Angeles Clippers don't at least get to the Western Conference Finals, the season will be a complete disappointment because they already had Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Russell Westbrook, and then they went out and got James Harden. But I've seen this song and dance before. We know Kawhi's going to play about 5 games the entire year, and James Harden puts up great numbers in the regular season, but when the games matter, he's average at best. So I don't see the Clippers making it to the Western Conference Finals. But at the same time, outside of the Denver Nuggets, who of course are going to be really good again, there's really not a great team in the Western Conference. So it is possible that the Clippers make it just by default. Any thoughts on this? As always, please feel free to let me know. If you watched Monday Night Raw last night, have any thoughts on it? Please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I always keep my guitar in the car. It's good for traffic jams. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.